I am your host, Dr. Virgia Jackson. So let's talk about it. Getting a word from God is powerful, but what happens after the amen? Walking in purpose, can we talk about it? It'll stretch you, it'll test you, and sometimes it'll even strip you down in order to build you back up. So tonight's conversation, flip side story with Kirstyn Allen, she left corporate success to step boldly into full-time entrepreneurship, facing both massive wins and, yes, challenges. Can anybody agree with me that we are experiencing challenges today? Along the way, she is ready to share the real cost and the beauty of saying yes to your calling. Stay tuned to this conversation, which will inspire and challenge you. We'll be right back. Trauma, toxic stress, broken habits, and hurting heart don't define destiny, but peace isn't passive. It requires an exchange. To create a flip and access peace in the middle of the pieces, you are challenged to make an exchange of the lies that have kept you mentally hostage in basement moments. Resilience isn't about bouncing back, but bouncing forward. Living Strong, the flip side of adversity, brings powerful stories and fearless conversations from experts in the field of business, relationships, emotional, physical, and mental health, and faith-based communities. Each episode creates a brave space with powerful tools from authentic connections. Tune in as we dig in with Dr. Jackson on the flip side of adversity. Hello. And I am so excited about this conversation because this is a byproduct of being in the right space at the right time with the right people. I met Kirstyn Allen in a collab chat with our one and only favorite collab queen. She's been on the show. She has helped me MC girlfriend gatherings. Deanna Jean connected us, and as soon as I heard the expertise that Kirstyn was able to share in just an hour conversation, I knew that she was someone, one, that I wanted to help me coach, to coach me in my own business, and someone I wanted to be able to introduce to our audience. So let me tell you just a little bit about her, and then we're going to jump into this conversation. Kirstyn Allen is an award-winning sales and marketing leader who has generated millions for Fortune 500 tech companies, and she has helped her clients land international giants as well as national nonprofits. So we are going to have a conversation with a woman who has experienced success, but she's going to give us a real conversation around the cost of walking out your purpose. So right here tonight on the flip side, we welcome Kirstyn Allen to the flip side of adversity. Welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, Dr. V. Thank you so much for that introduction. Oh man, beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
And I appreciate your yes. I truly appreciate your yes. There are times in which when you are a coach and you experience a coach who can succinctly guide you in the way that you're just like, oh, I really wanted that information. And
Yeah.
you delivered it in such a way. And I knew that if I could get you on the show with a yes, you would share nuggets with my audience. So I'm so thankful for your yes.
Yes, absolutely. And to echo you, shout out to the collab queen, Deanna Jean, for making this connection because it's just been beautiful so far. So definitely want to shout her out too.
Absolutely. So let's jump into this. So when you stepped into full time entrepreneurship. So, if you've been following me on social media, then you know I've shared a little bit more of her bio on the posts. And so, you weren't always an entrepreneur. You actually stepped out of the corporate space and boldly stepped into entrepreneurship. What kind of expectations did you actually have? And how quickly did real life change them for you?
Whew. Mm. Lord. Okay. So my expectations were, I think many of us, it's kind of like, the childlike faith that you have when you go into something. You're like, this is going to be great. This is the answer to all my problems. And as soon as I do this, the sky is going to open up, the heavens are going to fall out, and everything is just going to be great. Right. So
Yeah.
I remember times where I was, in my job and I would be like journaling or just talking to my husband, like, oh, I just can't wait till I can leave. Like, I know that, I'm doing great work here. And on paper, it's the six-figure salary. I'm in my 20s. It's great, but I just feel so empty. And I just
Mm,
remember going to work and just feeling like nothing was clicking the way that it was, no matter how many accolades or raises or all the things. It just always felt disconnected. So I remember expecting for this journey to feel like, oh, like it finally clicked. That thing that I said I was missing finally clicked. And in terms of you saying how soon, so I'm actually about to celebrate my full year in less than a month out.
mm,
So you said,
mm.
how long did it take for that to set in? And I'll say I had a good few months. It
Yeah.
was kind of like almost like taking a vacation. It kind of
Yes.
felt like, oh, okay, I'm free. I'm still doing things. I have clients and all the things, but I'm not so rigid to a 9 to 5. And another piece of what I didn't even share in the bio is that I worked a full-time job. I ran a six-figure business, crossed six figures last year. So that's really the ground zero when you really start to find
Hmm.
out that you have something. And then I also have a 4-year-old son who was with me up until literally 2 weeks ago. He just started school. So he was with me every single day as I was
Mm,
working and doing both of those things. So I had 3 jobs. So
yeah.
when one was gone, of course, it felt like, oh, something has opened up. But then I would say, kind of at the midpoint, I almost was like, oh, Lord, what did I do? Hold on. What did I do? Because the major thing that I had to understand is like now you're really on your own. Like
Hmm.
before, it was like I had the job. So, if I had some mindset issues or if I was getting frustrated, with the business or whatever, I had something to fall back on. So I could take a moment. Now it's kind of like, you can take a moment, but this is the thing. Like, there's nothing else. And so this is the thing. And so I would say, like, that midpoint, I really started to figure out, okay, yes, this is great.
Hmm.
And even sitting here today, I can still say I've made the better choice because it was in alignment and obedience with what I was supposed to do. I prayed on the date to leave my job and I got the date to leave my job and I left on that date. So I had to hold on to the fact that I know what I heard and I trust what I heard, even in those moments. But it definitely was a shift from now you are the creator. You're no longer just the person who is, helping another company create. And
Right.
so that mindset shift, I think, was the thing that really hit me. And it was like, you got to step up for real now. Like, you
Yeah.
really say this is your calling, this is what you're supposed to be doing, despite the warfare, which I'm sure we'll talk about that. You got to keep going. So, anyway, long
I
story
love
short,
all of it.
I'm still realizing what the cost is, not only of purpose, but of going into this thing called entrepreneurship, which I'm grateful to do, and understanding how to navigate it. So, yeah.
And you literally opened up the next thing that I know I've heard people say. It Because there was this expectation, and I can hear multiple people in my head talk about what expectations they have placed on entrepreneurship, the expectation of the freedom, the expectation of being able to do whatever I want to do, those expectations. But when things get hard or they don't work out exactly the way you saw it in your head before getting started, they sometimes doubt the dream, or they
Right.
doubt the gift, or they doubt the assignment. What do you say to those people?
Oh, Dr. V, you're killing me already. Because I'm just like, you must be with me in my prayer closet,
Mm,
because we literally, me and God, be going through this. But I'll say to those people that you're going to have those moments. I
mhm.
think that's probably the thing I wish I would have known, is like, that's normal. So to
Right.
everyone listening right now that might be feeling that, and know that I might be feeling it again next week. I'm not,
Mhm,
immune to it at all, but just know that it's a normal part of the process. If I
mhm,
would have embodied that earlier on, like even before I left my job, I think nothing would have changed in terms of like what happened and all of that, but my mindset and my approach and my perspective of it would have been different. Like,
yeah.
oh, okay, I see you. Yeah, but
Mhm.
let me keep going. Because as I mentioned before, I trust and know what I heard. So if things are coming against me, that actually means I'm in the right place. So rather than letting it overtake me, I just need to take it as fuel of like, okay, let me keep going. One of the people that I am connected to here in Atlanta, well, not connected to, but one of the people that I follow, and he's also local here to Atlanta, is John Hope Bryant. And I remember going to one of his events, and he said,
Yes.
I eat nose for breakfast. And I took that and I was like, you're right. We need to all eat nose for breakfast. It is just par for the course. It is not the meaning anything about me, anything about my calling or what I heard. It's literally a part of the process. I think that is something that will just break the chains off of the fear of failure or the fear of whatever may be coming against you.
When I think about and I've heard John Hope Bryant talk multiple times, and just his level of energy and passion is, you can't compare it to anyone else, but
Yes.
he's very real as well. And so when I think about having real conversations, either with myself or with a coach, going into entrepreneurship, you mentioned the mindset piece. What are three
Yes.
mindset things now that you are where you are? What are three mindset things that you would have told yourself? First, you said this is normal, but what are three other things? And, or
Yeah.
even that you've heard clients say and you've had to help them reframe their thinking?
Yes, so I'll give you both of those in the 3. I think the first one that came up for me as soon as you asked that question was, you have to really look at the identity that you have of yourself. And so just like you mentioned, you're working with me, I work with people too who help me through this and illuminate my own blind spots. And what I recognized is, in a lot of what I was doing in terms of like getting stuck or feeling frustrated, I was getting in my own way.
Mhm.
One of my spiritual counselors said this to me directly, and she was like, I feel like the Lord is telling you right now, this is self-imposed, problems that you're putting on yourself. And I was just like, you know what, you're right. And so what that main mindset shift is really to get out of your own drama and your own, negativity, whatever is holding you back, whether it's situations from, 20, 30, 50 years ago that you're still carrying today. All those things are going to show up. And if
Mhm.
you've never dealt with them, oh, you about to deal with them right now, one way
Yeah.
or another. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that shift to understand that um I this isn't my quote, but like, you won't be able to outsell who you believe you are. You know what I'm saying? So if you
Whoa.
believe yourself to be small, there's no way you can outsell that.
And as a marketing expert, I need you to say that again because I'm looking at some of the people who are in the chat. Donna, Shay, Inga, I need you to say that again as a marketing expert because that's golden. What was that quote again?
Yes, not my quote, but
Mhm.
we gonna lean on it today. You can never outsell who you believe that you are. And maybe it's my mentor Shamika that said it, or someone who else who said it. I'm giving the credit. But the truth of that and the heart of that is, if you only believe yourself to be small, if you believe you can't, I'm just going through the things that went through my mind. Even having all the receipts. How many of us have, like, we done got the degrees, doctor over here, we done wrote the books, we done did all the things, and we still think it's not enough. We
Mm.
still think this person is smarter than me, or this person has this, or I need to do more of this. I struggle with that so deeply. And so what I kept recognizing, and like I said, through my own coaching, through my own process, is the truth of that. If I only think of myself as this is where I will be. And no amount of whatever the latest hacks or things that are going on is going to matter,
Mm.
because people in this particular work that we do, transformational work and things like that, people subscribe, whether it's a corporate client or whether it's an individual, on you. They're sold on you. And I think I knew that because I come from a sales background. And as you talked in my bio, like, I've made these larger deals. But the interesting thing that I realized, I had a brand behind me. So I had a different level of confidence because they weren't rejecting me, they were rejecting this company. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, yeah, I could take a no because I'll just go on to the next. But then when you're on your own, you have to make sure that you have that same energy, because your first response might to be to feel rejected yourself or feel like you're not enough.
Mm.
So that's really the main mindset thing. You cannot sell who you believe you are. You have to make sure that you do your work, whether it's with someone who's ahead of you, like you and I invest our
Mhm.
time and resources into doing, or taking the time yourself to really uncover what those things are. That's like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then the second piece on, mindset that I would suggest that I have, often see with clients is, again, kind of the lens of, how you see yourself, but it kind of go deeper, is I'll hear people say, especially with the work that we do going into corporations, well, it's just me, or they're speaking this little me in big corporation. They're speaking this, language I don't understand. I don't feel, confident enough to be able to charge this much. I literally had a conversation with someone today, and she was like, how do I get over the feeling of feeling like this is too much? And I'm like, well, who said it was too much?
Where did you
So,
get that message from? Yes.
yeah, yeah. So also just this perspective of how you see the value of your gifts. So we
Mm.
talked about how you see the value of yourself. How do you see the value of your gifts? And I'm saying literally the lessons that I even had to learn from myself. So I'm not telling you anything I haven't experienced. I wasn't always so sure that this gift that I do in this business was valuable to people outside of myself. I'm like, this is my corporate career. I did these things, but I don't know that other people are going to see it valuable to them. And had I not saw that value, we wouldn't even be here having this conversation and blessing whoever is going to be encountering this podcast. So the value has to shift in what you do. And then I would say the last thing is, how much is actually going to take. So I think the internet world, while it's great and it gives us access to so many
Mhm.
different information or
Come
pieces of
with it.
information, it makes us see this facade that it's just an easy button, that we're just gonna mix this, that, stir, and here you go. And that is detrimental, especially to many of us who have a true purpose to carry out. Like if you just want to go viral online or whatever for a one-time thing, okay. But if you have a true purpose and mission that you're meant to get out, it's probably going to take two times more than what you think it's going to take. Like you can get all the recipes. I have gotten methodologies, blueprints on how to do different things online. That's great. And what I realized, you still have to put the work in. You still have to find your own way of doing it. You still have to apply and go over and over again. No one can give you just this out of the box solution. So I think that's more of like a newer thing, of course, with being online, that I feel a lot of people can get sucked into. But just go ahead and cut that out and just decide, I'm in this and I'm going to do what it takes to make sure the value that I have inside of me gets to the people who need it. It's going to take more effort. And
Yeah.
you might as well just fall in love with the process.
And the culture that we live in, this insta culture of thinking, there are so many constantly in my feed. If you just do this, it only takes 35 seconds. It should take you 10 minutes a day. And the shaming message that if it's taking you more than 10 minutes to go viral, then you somehow are doing something wrong.
Right.
When actually, when you are walking in a purposeful calling, it is going to cost you a shift in mindset, a shift in recognizing the amount of time that you're going to need to put into it. As a
Yes.
marketing expert, and one who not only on traditional social media, but how we connected was I wanted to glean your wisdom on how to leverage LinkedIn better. In doing this work, what is something that you are seeing entrepreneurs doing wrong when they're trying to actually leverage their brand or their value on platforms?
Yeah. So that's good. That's really good. When I think about like LinkedIn, for example, we connected and I did that training about it. I think on that platform, and this can be extended to other places as well, but I really want to talk about that particular platform. I think most people look at LinkedIn. I hear this often like, oh, LinkedIn is where the people with money are. These are where the buyers are. And it's like, yes, but they're also everywhere. So it's not that LinkedIn is like, a country club. It's a platform that everyone has access to and can be on as well. So it doesn't just guarantee that it's, this gold mine. So I think people kind of put it on a pedestal, first of all, and
Mhm.
think that all their problems are going to be solved if they get on over there and they're going to find the right fit clients. So that's the first thing. And then I think the other piece is people forget that LinkedIn, especially, but every platform is about the human connection. So I think especially on LinkedIn, people want to be stuffy, or I'll hear people say, "Oh, I don't like LinkedIn. It's too this, it's too corporate-y, it's too da 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 da." And it's like, no, like when I scroll through, I see some real stuff. I see, my sister girl Liku, who's an attorney, posting about her motherhood journey, and her posts are always getting, thousands of likes and connections and things like that. And that's her personal story and her personal life, just like you would see on Facebook. And I actually just recently saw this post of a girl doing a pitch to Olipop and talking about like how she would go do their social media branding. And it was a really cool post, really positioning herself for that opportunity. And I'm like, it's fun over here. Like it's cool stuff over here. It's not just I got a new job and come celebrate me, but people are talking about their real life. So I think the human connection piece is something to always remember on any of these platforms, because it's all about you. Even the big brands, our Coca-Colas or whoever, big brands, they're recognizing that as well. The
Mhm.
human connection, people want to talk to people, not a logo. So don't get on platforms acting like a logo.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. And so I think that's one piece. And then also, just understanding how to leverage each platform in the right ways. So we are always talking and hearing about repurposing content, right? But you would never just repost something that you did on TikTok and post it over to LinkedIn, just without any changes or any ways of making it unique to that platform. And so I think that's something to also keep in mind, especially as we're getting into creating more content and batch creating and repurposing. As I mentioned, you have to make sure you tailor your content for the way in which the platform allows you to thrive on,
Mhm.
because it's not a goal for me, like, and we've talked about this, through the work that we're doing. I don't want you to be a LinkedIn content creator. I know some people want to do that. They want to have followers and, do all the things. But I'm like, really, the goal is to get people into a conversation. This is just like a highway that we're using to get to a destination. It is not the destination. So, yeah.
Powerful. And Laverne jumped in here and said she has been wanting to get more active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And when something you said in the presentation that we first met with uh, Deanna Jean, because I think it's also this culture that can impact people's mindset around their value of what they're bringing,
Yeah.
is you mentioned that it's not always about having this post that goes viral that determines whether or not you're going to get clients, whether or not you what you're offering is valuable. It's not just about the number of people. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think also people shrink because my stuff, people aren't liking it. I don't have thousands of people looking at my things. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I chose the wrong thing. Maybe this isn't what I was called to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So this is the truth of the matter. I have never went viral. Never. Like, I've gotten some things. I think Threads right now is where my most interacted pieces of content are. And I still run a successful business. So I'm not a content creator or an influencer or something like that. So in those worlds, that matters. But as someone who offers services, consulting, transformational work, whatever you want to categorize yourself as, you provide a service or offer a product or something like that, it's not so much about those, hate to say it because it's a buzzword, vanity metrics or numbers that we're looking at on the screen. It's
Mhm.
really about the conversations that you're having. So it's not, it's the likes and all of that stuff is great. And I think the real root of that is we're looking for the validation outside of us.
Mhm.
I have been a victim of this. I will call my own self out. We're looking for that validation outside of us to tell us that we should be doing it, when how it actually works is you have to have the validation inside to then attract the validation on the outside.
Mhm.
So it's in the reverse. You're not looking for those things to make you feel like you're doing it right. You decide this is right. And then
Mhm.
that will attract the results that you want in terms of the right people actually coming to work with you. So I
Mhm.
think the first thing would just be to shift that. Like, okay, the likes and comments, they're good. Yeah, but I'm not really too concerned about that. That's down the line.
Mhm.
I want to know how many quality conversations I'm having. I want to know how many people that I actually want to work with. Because here's a thing. This happens
Mhm.
to me too. I see people that like my stuff all the time, and they're not people who are ideal clients.
Right. Right.
So do I want visibility, and or I do want visibility, but do I want virality, or do I want clients that I can actually serve and work with and help them get to their ultimate goals?
Yeah.
So remembering that is also key so that you can stay grounded in what truly matters,
Mhm.
because those things, while they can be data, they're not the determining factors of your
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
data is the data. You can manipulate it, you can change things, but it doesn't have to mean anything about you as the person. It's all about the activities that are happening. And sometimes the data is skewed against you. Sometimes you can have some really good stuff that doesn't get seen. You just have to try it again. I had to learn that. Like, just keep different angles, try it again, put it out again, say it this way, remove this, and just be in this testing process, which is why what I said earlier with the mindset shift, you might want to just go ahead and decide you're about to fall in love with the process, because that's the only way to keep your mind sane.
It is going to take time, and
Yeah.
it is going to cost you energy and effort. I can't tell you how many surprise moments I've had literally on this show with guests who have gone viral, who have been on television and are financially, they're still waiting to actually build the business the way they want. They got all of the clicks, they got, and I'm not talking about influencers. I know that world, but people who have wanted to be able to build the business, identify the clients, get contracts that will lead to financial success for their business. They got all of the likes, but there
Yeah.
was this quote, I forget this quote. It was it in reference saying having a bunch of likes is like having monopoly money. Like it
Ooh.
didn't translate into actual dollars, but what you when you were sharing, it's how are you creating relationships that connect you with your client,
Yeah.
and keeping that focus, that it's not just about the number of likes. It is, you can be one conversation away from the next $10,000 client or $100,000 client. One
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep.
Mm,
And oftentimes too, those people may not be, and I'm sure many of you have heard this before, those people aren't the folks that are liking your content. I mean, we have an example of that right here today. I don't even think we were connected on social media before you and I started working together. So there it goes to show, and there's been people that have been following me, for several, since I've been online, and it's not a good fit, but they, want to continue to stay in my world and celebrate, but perhaps they're not at the stage of pursuing contracts, but they're liking things. So again, it's kind of like, like you said, the monopoly money. It's great gratification, if you are in a place where you feel like you need that. But what I would strive for you to take away from this is to really set that to the side. Let that be what it's going to be, and really focus in on having quality interactions, having quality conversations, getting on and speaking about your expertise in detail, like the training that I did. Like, those are going to be your most high value activities, not only for you, but even for the people that you're meant to serve. Because
yeah,
they're not scrolling just looking for stuff to like and giggle at. They're looking to solve a problem. I'm looking to solve a problem when I'm, looking for people to work with. So I may not like anything either, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I feel what you're saying. I need to talk to her. I need to get into her world. Like, but I don't need to play around liking and commenting. Like, you know
right.
what I'm saying? So I think that that's an important thing too, to think about your ideal person too. Like, would they even be sitting around, liking and
Mm,
scrolling all the time? They're working, when they see you, they're ready to move. They're serious. They're not playing around. So, yeah.
right. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Because my client is just as busy as I am, and
Yep.
they're not the client who is spending all day liking. They are looking for something that is going to add value to the problem that they are experiencing. And when they hit my message, am I crafting my content in such a way that it connects with my purpose? It is
Yep.
adding value, and I'm giving them an action step for them to be able to connect with me and make the move. I don't need you to just click like. I need you to actually make a move for us to have a deeper conversation offline.
Right. Right. Because that's where the transformation and the movement is going to happen. And I'm so glad you brought that up because literally today, after my devotional time, I had to convict myself on that because as we talked about early on, how much we get into our head and, our expectations versus what, realistically happens. I realized that, we've been given a certain level of value, a certain level of experience. Like none of that was just for us. Like when
Mm,
I think about the career that I had, although I came out of it, like that wasn't just for me. It was for me to build the skill set so that I can share it and be able to advance the kingdom through more people acquiring these contracts and through these opportunities. So, with that in mind, how dare I ever
mm,
act like I can't show up and deliver and do the things and be in the spaces that I need to be in so that I can drive forward the transformation that was given to me to do. Like that's a whole when I realized that, I said,
mhm,
"Oh,
mhm,
like I was over myself at that point." I'm like, "Okay,
mhm,
girl, you
mhm,
really playing around. Like you are in your head, letting the enemy get in your head and paint this whole entire ridiculous picture that really is not the core of the truth and really takes you off of where you even supposed to be focused on.
mm.
Deliver."
Yeah.
So,
And you so eloquently and easily have connected for our conversation your business and your faith together.
yeah.
What are some key things that your faith you just shared how it has helped you have a wake up call? Are there other ways that your faith has actually helped you guide building your business or creating decisions um, when numbers and circumstances might not have looked the way you wanted them to? What
Yeah.
role has your faith played in building your business?
Yes. So my faith has grown tremendously. I grew up in church, you get baptized, you listen to the word, you go there on Sundays, you're there on Wednesdays, vacation Bible school, the growing up in church starter pack. Yes. But
Starter
I didn't
pack.
yes, all the things. But the one thing that I did not realize until about 2023 is the value of being in relationship with God and what that is like totally different from being religious or just growing up in church. So that was my journey and it came by way of experiencing anxiety. I was having a lot of panic attacks. From the beginning of when I was pregnant with my son in 2020, when the whole world, all the things
All the
had a baby
things.
in
Mhm.
2020. Like it was crazy. But as a result of that, I had this increasing anxiety that came in the form of these panic attacks. And it just got to the point where I was just like, okay, I don't know what else to do. I done tried all these tricks and habits. So let me, just get a prayer closet. I mean, that's what I think that should be my next step here. And so that was the start of this entire journey of being in relationship, knowing the Lord more closely, and just studying the word for myself. And so that backbone has been everything for me right now. Like
Mhm.
when they say
Mhm.
being in your right mind is a blessing, it is because
Yes.
that my faith has kept me in the right mind through all the things that I've had to balance and juggle through, being a wife, being, a career woman, having this dream of business and all these things. It has been doing that. And some of the things that
Mhm.
have been most important to me have been studying the word. Like, I didn't realize how much of life's answers are literally in the pages of the Bible. Like,
Mhm.
I literally sometimes read it and I'm just in awe. And I'm like, oh, the wake up call, yes, but just the connection of like, this is how I can apply this to this situation. Oh, I'm going through this right now. I'm feeling this frustration. I can take this same, theme or this same revelation that I'm getting here and apply it. And I'll
Mhm.
say another extension of my faith is joining communities of other women of faith. That has been huge for me. Doing fasts with them, doing prayer calls with them, revivals, and all of these things, because then I get to see how other women are growing in their relationship and hear their testimonies. And that encourages me to go forward. You know, I started really getting into my tithing and offering journey and being consistent with that because I believe that I'm called to millions. And so I want to make sure that as I move in forward to that goal, that first of all, it's covered by the blood because I don't want to be a millionaire and be
Mm.
unhappy. And I think that goes back to my original point of how the faith journey started. The one thing that I was praying for at that time, I wasn't praying for millions or nothing else. I was praying for peace. I was like, Lord, it's chaos in
Peace
my
of
mind right
mind.
now.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, I just need some peace. I just want to feel safe. I just want to feel peaceful again. And so I always keep that in mind of yes, I have these goals, but Lord, I don't want it if it's going to take me back there because I work
Right.
way too hard to grow, to be deep in my faith, to allow any material aspiration to take me back to a place that I prayed so hard to get out of. So my faith is my rock. To put it all into one sentence, it's my rock. It's something I'm continuing to grow into and continuing to dive further in. But what I'm recognizing is like in the stillness, in the times of worship, in the times of prayer, in the time of fellowship, that changes things more than staying up. I used to stay up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to work on the next thing to make my business grow and da 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 and stressing out and all of that. The times when I've stepped away and got into my faith have been the times that have created the most clarity, have been the
Mhm.
times that have moved the needle forward the most in the most authentic way. So I could go on and on and on and continue to give credit where the credit is due, which is to the Father. But the faith piece, if you don't have it, I don't know how you're making it because
Today, the craziness that is around all of us, and I committed 2025 to really having conversations around how do we stay emotionally, mentally, physically, um, and relationally well
yes,
in a season of constant uncertainty, of constant upheaval. It is possible for us as humans, especially those who are believers. And I know that everyone who listens to the show isn't a Christian, but as I've always shared, that if you want to understand how I've built a business, how I have navigated, then it includes my faith. And so, in seasons of uncertainty, that groundedness of our faith, and as you said, of the word, of really prioritizing our time for stillness and presence and meditation and prayer so that we can access creativity, innovation, and walking in purpose. When you talk about like really walking in purpose hand in hand with your faith, is there a time in which you were walking in purpose and you actually found unexpected favor or opportunity in front of you?
oh, yes, 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 yes. I'm glad you brought that up because it is important to also recognize the beauty of the purpose and the beauty of, this journey. And I'll say for me, yes, we can talk about the wins, well, I got these clients, or, I had, this corporate contract for my own company that came through. Those things are great. But I will say, in terms of what's been the greatest like revelation of that walking in purpose and really seeing that favor is seeing how well like my finances have been carried throughout this entire time, I'm still in awe. Like, I don't, I do know, like, I can see the numbers on the screen, but then sometimes I'm just like, how is it coming up on a year and we
Yeah.
have not missed our mortgage?
Right.
Like,
Right.
how is it coming up on a year and, the lifestyle has not changed? Like, ain't nobody had to turn in no cars, we not in here. We only eat seafood. So we ain't in here eating hot dog. Like, we don't eat that type of stuff. So, none of that has been our story for literally almost a year. And we're not a household where it's like, oh, my husband makes all this money and I can just have fun type of thing. Like, I was the
Mhm.
breadwinner in our family.
Mhm.
And so to take that and still be sustained is a miracle to me every day.
Mhm.
It just does not get old. Like,
Mhm.
how, Lord, did you create, this
Mm.
opportunity for this gift to really sustain me in this way? Like, it's one thing to get a job. I know how to get a job. I know how to get an interview. I know how to, sell myself and get, the things that I need to get. But for this to really be a journey of surrender, where it's like, here's the gift, Lord, show me where it needs to be, show me how to show up. I only
Mhm.
want to serve the people that you're calling to me. I only want to serve the people that I know you're calling me to help. So I'm not out here just trying to do anything to, get ahead. I'm really being intentional about the things that I do. So being in that level of surrender and still being carried is just beyond me. Like, my
Yeah.
son just started school. And at first I was like, oh, he's in private school. And I'm like, oh, I don't know,
Mhm.
but the thing that made me more calm about it is when we toured the school, it was everything that I was praying about. And it
Mhm.
just felt right. It felt like this was his assignment. So I'm like, well, Lord, if you brought us here, you
Mhm.
orchestrated this entire thing in a major way. This is where he's supposed to be. So I know you're going to provide. You told me to go out on this journey right now. So I know you're going to provide. So I believe that and know that. And I still recognize the blessings that he has just carried to be able to do that. So, long story, it's just that miracle of the favor of just he has everything covered that I need. And it's like, just when it might seem a little iffy, it's like, oh, something else comes. Because I experienced the things too, all the things going on in the world. Oh, people aren't doing this, or people don't do da 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 da. Inflation, this, everything's going up. I experienced it too, but I decide what I'm going to plug in and tune into, which is I'm too abundant to fail. Like, I'm too abundant to be without. That's just not my truth. So I won't accept anything other than that.
Yes. Amen and amen.
Yeah.
And you entitled this conversation Understanding the Cost of Walking in Purpose.
Yeah.
And you've shared so much. Could you give us 3 words that would underscore or sum up your why behind the cost of walking in purpose? What are 3 words that would sum
Mm,
that up?
okay. Commitment,
Mm-hmm.
transformation,
Mm.
and being a light. A light.
Wow. Commitment, transformation, and being a light. Can you give
Yeah.
us insight? I feel like you've really laid out the
Mhm.
commitment part, but is there anything you want to share? And then why transformation?
Yep.
Take us through it.
Yeah. So the commitment piece, like you said, yeah, that's really laid out. It's being committed to the purpose. You're laying down, the cost is really laying down the version of yourself that you believe that you are right now. It's laying down your thoughts, it's laying down your comfort. It's literally, as they say, dying to yourself every single day. and there is a commitment attached to that. It's not a one-time decision that I'm going to walk in purpose. I realize this. It's a daily, if not, hour by hour, minute by minute commitment that you have to have. And then that is leading you to your own personal transformation. And through your transformation, other people are transformed. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that like gets me the most is like, I want to see what this is going to do for other people. I want to see them, embody what they're called to do. And I'm just thankful to be a part of the journey. And I think the light piece is so important because, as you talked about, the world that we're in as we're recording this is very dark. And unfortunately, according to the things that I'm reading, it's not going to get any less
Mhm.
dark. Like the world is going to continue to be a dark place. But I think what we are as believers, the hands and feet of Christ on earth, we're here to be that light, not to us, but to Him, which is the source. And so I think that it's important for me. One of my prayers that I say often is like, Lord, in this conversation, like before I get on my calls or, before I do my content, I'm like, Lord, I want them to see your light through me. Like whatever my, things that I have going on, my imperfections, because I'm not perfect. I pray that that can be moved to the side, and what can be amplified is the light that you put inside of me so they can be connected to you. Now, I don't do, and I've struggled with this. Like, I don't say I'm a kingdompreneur or, I'm not talking about biblical principles as a part of my business, but it is a part of my core values and the thing that I feel a lot of people leave out online, or they construe it in a different way and don't call the reason why they're successful what it is. Like a lot
Mhm.
of people have faith, they just don't attach it to God, they don't attach it to Jesus. But that faith is what you need to bring forth a purpose. And so I hope that in everything that I do, I'm the light towards that truth. So, yeah.
The opportunity to be light and set in such intention behind purpose is so powerful because I feel like the opportunity to get distracted, to get discouraged, to dim your light, to say, oh, well, that things are so dark, and really get into a woe me or it's going to be impossible mindset, setting those pillars as foundational elements to how you're going to show up. No, your business isn't necessarily a kingdom business, but your core, as you said, your core values show up as integrated into how you serve clients and how you are adding value to the world around us. And I know we connected. I'm a part of your Get Corporate Clients work. And I know there are many other things that you do as a business. And so, for someone who's listening and they're like, she is working and operating in such a purposeful, intentional, integral way, I want to know more about the work that she does. Can you walk us through what is it that you have built on this foundation and how can people connect with you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that. So, as Dr. V mentioned, a part of my work in the world is really being the bridge between small business owners and getting inside of corporations. And so we pride ourselves as an organization on not just being a coaching company or, online business, but really a true consultancy that works alongside brilliant experts to share with them how they can position themselves as a corporate vendor, how to market themselves to attract leads. And that's not just LinkedIn, that's many different ways in order to attract your right fit corporate clients, and then give you a sales process, because as you know, I'm a sales girl, on how you are going to close the deal. So if you are someone who's saying things like, I know that my work is meant to be in greater spaces, I know that corporations organizations need what I have to offer. I just don't know how to get started. Or maybe you've had an opportunity before through a referral or a friend, and you just don't know how to recreate that if you were going to pitch yourself or position yourself for these opportunities. You are the type of expert that we want to work with. And so, our Get Corporate Clients Now experience is a full end-to-end support system on how you can do just exactly what I said from step by step. And we support you along the way in many different ways. So you can connect with me. Our website is kirstynjallen.com. But the best way to connect with me, especially from this podcast, is just to shoot me a message. So wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, shoot me a message. Let me know that you tuned into Dr. V's podcast and you would like to learn more about how you can work with our company. And I'd be happy to share that with you. And then another resource that I'll share, just because it's on the screen here, is my book, Get Corporate Clients Now, which is the blueprint and a good starting point for those who just want to start getting acclimated to what this process looks like. And that is available on Amazon. And I'd love for you to grab a copy. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And can you give us maybe three nuggets from the book that
yes.
someone who is listening, they're just like, what does that, what don't I know? Could you give us three little nuggets from the book?
Yes, absolutely. So, one of the main things that I talk about in the book is how to get corporate contract ready. And Dr. V is going through this right now. And so this part is really about how do you get your assets in place to make sure you look like the type of person that provides services to corporations. So if you've ever heard of a capability statement, this is the portion where you'll be getting that piece together and ensuring that you look like who you need to look like. And so there's a big portion in the book on getting contract ready that we talk about. Another piece that I give inside of the book is how do you structure your services? So one of the main questions that I often hear is, what do I price and what do I offer? And is it a workshop? Is it a this and that? And how much do I charge? And I talk in the book specifically about how you want to think about pricing for the organizations that you're looking to work with and what type of services you can provide based on the expertise you already have. So this isn't creating the wheel. You're already an expert. You done got the degrees and things. And so we're talking about how you can turn those things into contracts. And the last piece that I'll say is most people want to understand, what do I say on the calls? Like, okay, I get someone interested and I have them on a call. How do I turn this into an opportunity and not just a glorified coffee chat? And so I go through some questions and things that you want to think about and introduce you to the structure that we teach inside of the Get Corporate Clients Now experience so that you can see from end to end, from having an offer all the way to signing on the dotted line and delivering your workshop, your keynote, whatever it is, you have a picture of exactly what that will look like. So I enjoy writing it. If you enjoy the way that I've been talking here today, I talk the same way in the book. So it's no legalese and information that you don't understand. It's like we're having a conversation across the table at brunch. And I'm like, girl, let me put you on. So that's the book.
I love it. And one more time, so they didn't have a pen when you said it the first time. Now you've given them nuggets and they're like, oh, I need that book. Can you tell them the
Yes.
name of the book and where they can get it?
Yes, so it is Get Corporate Clients Now, and it is available on Amazon. It looks just like this. And yeah, that's where you can find it, along with some amazing resources. So, another thing that I'll share with those who purchase the book, you get access to a page of additional trainings and resources that I personally did. So, you get the book and you also get kind of like a mini course. So, you in.
Uh, Thank you so much. You shared a breadth of wisdom from just making that shift in your mindset, preparing and thinking about how to show up as an entrepreneur, to how your faith has created a foundation, and then
Yeah.
even the practical awareness connected to how you, as an author, have leveraged your book to add value to others and created other streams of revenue to be able to support and serve your business, and have shared all of that with us. And I also want to make sure our listeners are aware of an event that we are getting ready to host in September. If you are a book lover, if you are an author, if you are just someone who actually wants to hear from people who are doing the work, who understand the cost of walking in purpose, I want to share with you this invitation to join us at LitCon this September 20th. Watch this. Hey, book lovers. I am so excited about this premiere book lovers event that is free to you and it's coming to Philadelphia. Let me tell you, I'm bringing my voice, my story, and my vision as a co-host to LitCon Philly. LitCon is a literary event that has traveled the country. And guess what, y'all? It's coming to Philadelphia September 20th. And I want you in the room with me and some of the most amazing speakers, authors, and vendors. So, this is the event for you if you want to write a book, find out how to build wealth, identify how can I get published, understand how do I make life shifts and moves, how do I grow better, how do I live better, how do I stand stronger. If you're an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, or just plain old book lover, we are ready to inspire, connect, and create impact with you. But you've got to be in the place. We're going to be at the Community College of Philadelphia in the Great Room on September 20th. And remember, this is a free event to you. Grab your spot today at philly.litconevents.com. I'll say it again, philly.litconevents.com. Grab your seat. I can't wait to see you September 20th. Again, thank you so much, Kirstyn. This has been a powerful conversation and true to form, one in which if someone has felt like they are stuck, you have given them tools and keys to create that flip. So again, thank you. Any last closing thoughts before we say goodbye?
This was so amazing. I saw so many people tuned in and out, and I saw some comments. So I can't wait to come back and look at what you all were saying so that I can respond. I think the main thing I always like to leave people with is don't just hear and listen to what we said today. Take action. We said a lot. I'm sure you might have wrote some things down, whether mentally or physically. Move on that one thing. I don't want you just here clapping and saying, oh, this was good. What are you going to do with what you took away and invested your time in hearing today? Ask yourself that and then go do it. So thank you, Dr. V, for having me on this amazing platform. I could have kept talking to you for another 2 hours. This
It
was
was
amazing. And I am so glad to have joined you today on the flip. So thank you.
awesome, awesome. And as always, listeners, same time, same place. Next week, here on the flip side, we'll have another purposeful, intentional, and healing conversation. Don't you miss it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.